Hey guys, it's Danny. Today I'm gonna take you along as I repot some newly acquired pelargoniums, and I'm also gonna tell you the story of how I got into pelargoniums. Some of you who are much older on my channel might already know the story, and you might already know that I absolutely love pelargoniums ever since I was a kid, and I tried to grow them before on my terrace where I last lived, but it did not work out so well because that terrace was very hot. So here where I am, it's quite different. There's a lot more breeze. It's quite windy actually. It's a lot cooler at night. It's so much cooler actually in the summertime. So I'm gonna give all of these plants that I've always wanted, gonna give them another go, and pelargoniums definitely are one of them. Now the good thing is that pelargoniums are evergreen in the country that I live in now, which is Cyprus, and they're also super affordable. This is €2.55, €2.55, and yeah, I can buy a million, not really, but I can buy a lot of them, and there are so many varieties. There's never any good tags. I mean, we have a Greek name here, which is kind of cute, but yeah, we don't really have variety names. I don't even know if the nurseries making these actually give the local retailers here the full name, so keep that in mind. Sorry for not giving you varieties, but I really don't know what these are. But what I do know is that these are Zono pelargoniums, and they are hardy to my area, which never freezes. It's a little hot in the summertime, but I can shade them because I will pot them. I'm not gonna put them in the garden, and they do great here pretty much, so why not? 'Tis the time, right? So before we start, let me tell you my little poem. Don't forget to give this video a like if you end up enjoying it, and why not subscribe? I post multiple times a week and it's completely free. And if you're feeling a little extra, do consider becoming a member and seeing some behind the scenes or exclusive videos. You can also check out the merch. We have a beautiful puzzle at the moment and some mugs. You can also use the affiliate links down below. I did forget my poem, and if all else fails, you can use the super thanks option. By the way, sorry about the noise. My bird is like right in front of me, like in the house. I opened the window so she can kind of like be with me, so she's kind of pacing around. So if you hear noises, that's her. Righty, with that said, let's just make some space here and get ready. Alright, so I have some pots here. I'm going to go for some white plastic pots because this area really benefits from plastic pots rather than terracotta pots, which lose water a lot, and also really benefits from light colored pots which don't overheat. So we're gonna use this, and because I like contrast, the dishes will be dark colored, and I think it will look very cute. Right, let's get to it. The soil that I'm gonna use is an all-purpose soil. It's just a general all-purpose soil, nothing fancy like super acidic or anything. It's just something that I find locally here. It might actually be produced locally. There it is. It's called Floragard. Yeah, no, I think it's German. It's not locally produced, but it's just an all-purpose potting soil. Oops. I'm gonna dump it into a little bucket that I have here, just for ease of use. All right, who do we start with? Let's start with this one. This is such a pretty color I've never seen before. It is a very deep, very dark burgundy color. I've never seen one like this before, to be fully honest. So, you know, I had to get it. Let's start with the story, right? How did my passion for pelargoniums start? I told this story before when I was trying to grow a second channel with gardening and other houseplants. I don't know how many of you know about it, so I'm just gonna say it again. It involves something a little bit quote-unquote religious. Please don't get offended, it is just my experience, and it's funny now that I look back or remember it, it's very funny. So, when I was little, at some point we went on a tour of the monasteries in Romania. It's a thing you do, you don't have to be religious to go and visit them because the architecture is really beautiful, and they're kind of famous, you know. Tourism a little bit revolves around these monasteries in Romania. And when I was a kid, maybe 6 years old, 7 years old, something like that, we went on a tour to see these monasteries. And they are really gorgeous. Most of anything, really, what I appreciated was the flowers. They all had really nice gardens and really nice flowers. Now, one of these monasteries, I don't remember which one, And honestly, I don't remember much about the monastery because, I don't know, I was taken by the flowers, to be honest. So I'm gonna put a little bit of soil on the bottom here. And I'm just gonna, you know, press a little on the pot, pull up, and here she is. I'm gonna try to reuse some of this soil as well. And if I can't reuse everything, you know, that is okay. What I like to do sometimes is remove the top part of the soil because that's where all of the old leaves, you know, fall and you have a lot of debris there. So if I don't reuse all the soil and if I disturb the roots, that's fine with me. I did it before, nothing bad will happen. Right, so we were at this monastery, which was quite large. I don't know if you've ever had the chance to visit a monastery or know how it looks like, a Romanian monastery, because I'm guessing they're different in between them depending on the country, right? But they have like an interior yard and they usually do have a floor or another level. So this one had an upper level. And just imagine a sort of a square building with an interior garden. And on that square, on the inside portion, you had a sort of a balcony type of a thing with, you know, a little fence so that you don't fall over. And on that fence, oops, oh goodness, it's a sign. So on this rail, let's call it a rail, they had what I can only describe as a gazillion beautiful pelargonium pots. Now, pelargoniums are really, really popular, or they used to be really popular in Romania. They weren't like rare or anything. Obviously, we didn't have much variety in the flower shops, but everybody can remember their parents or grandparents having pelargoniums in pots in the house. It's just a very, very popular plant. These guys at this monastery had, I'm kidding you not, hundreds of pots of pelargoniums. Some varieties that I have never in my life seen before. Neither did my mom. Some of them were like trailing even. I don't know, that was my memory of them. Maybe they just weren't pruned. But there were a million colors and varieties, and goodness, I don't know where they were coming from, but yeah, these guys had really good stuff plant-wise. And so I was absolutely taken with them. I always loved flowers, plants, you know, because they're associated with flowers, but generally flowers, I loved them. And, you know, natural stuff, I really always loved them. So I was mesmerized. That's all I could talk about and think of, the multitude of flowers and how beautiful they all were. So we just visited. I mean, I don't know what my other family was doing, but I was just looking at the plants. I was just among the plants, and my mom noticed and she was like, listen, how about we ask one of the priestess? No. We don't have priestess. Listen, I don't know the term in English. Let's just call them sisters, okay? The sisters were actually taking care of the plants. They were watering them. That's what they were doing at that moment. Let's pot this one now. Look how pretty she is. Look at this. I know there might be some of you who are really into pelargoniums and have beautiful collections, and you might be like, oh, that's just such, you know, a common pelargonium, but you know what? I didn't have many and I craved them all my life. So, you know, if I get really happy about nothing, just bear with me, just play along, okay? For me, it's something. Right, so Mom suggested that we ask very nicely one of the sisters to maybe give us a small cutting from one that I liked the most. And I got beyond myself excited. I got so, like, oh my goodness. So we go to one of the sisters and we ask her. I mean, my mom asks because I was super shy. I'm still shy. I would never dare to ask. So my mom goes and says, listen, my daughter is super in love with all of these plants. So would it be possible at all, maybe from a bigger variety, to give her a small cutting? To which, you know, I think my mom was expecting the sister to be all, you know, kind and polite. What would you expect from a sister, right? Now, the sister gives her a glance, and I remember this, with the coolest voice of life, she says, no. I was heartbroken. My mom was angry. My dad was trying to calm her down. She did not took it well. My mom did not take it well because I was, you know, on the verge of crying and stuff. More because I was mortified, not because she wouldn't give me, you know, the plant, but because I felt embarrassed that I asked. I don't like to ask stuff. I usually do things myself, not a good thing, but I hate to ask people for stuff and for help. My mom wanted to give her a piece of her mind, but my dad, you know, calmed her down. In retrospect now, I'm thinking maybe there were a million tourists or people asking if they can have a piece. Maybe they even stole plants. I don't know, maybe, you know. So in retrospect, I am giving her the benefit of the doubt. She has no obligation, you know, to talk to us and to cater for our entitlement. But at the same time, you know, I was a child. It wasn't like another lady asking for cuttings. I was a child. Anyway, I'm not upset or anything. And I wasn't upset. I was just mortified. My mom was very upset. She swore never to go there again. But what I did, what I always do, is when I get like rejected or I don't know, when I know I cannot have something, I take it as, oh yeah, wait until, well, this was then, wait until I grow up. And when I grow up, I'm gonna have like a million pelargoniums, and I will not need your pelargoniums. I'm gonna get them myself there, just to spite you. Not that the poor woman ever saw me again, not that she even cared much about my feelings, but that's how I started to get like really into them and really obsessive about them. And of course I had like whatever I could, whatever my mom could find and buy for me. I did have a few plants at home and a few flowers, but I was dreaming of those varieties. Back then, do you guys remember, if you're Romanian and you're like born in the 80s, 90s, we used to have the red ones, the orange ones, the white ones, I think maybe a pink one. That was about it, you know. These ones, I'm telling you guys, they had multiple colors and everything. They were absolutely beautiful. I think they were like getting them from different countries because these monasteries were not where I'm from, not in the south. They were more towards the northern area. So maybe they would get them from Hungary or, I don't know, Germany maybe even, I don't know. I'm sure they traveled. If you're in this business, I'm sure you travel. So yeah, that's the story of how I got into pelargoniums. This one is potted as well. Now, obviously, growing up, I didn't fulfill my dream of having a pelargonium collection because I rented a lot and moved a lot and so on. You know how it is that I moved countries, but with every opportunity that I ever had, I tried to have a few. And needless to say, I tried to have a few here in Cyprus as well and failed. Some of you might know. I honestly don't know if these videos are still on the internet because it was on a second channel, and then I changed the second channel to the Aquarium channel that it is now, or actually I closed it at some point. I don't remember what I did, so I don't even know if I have these videos anymore, but it doesn't matter. I told this story before but I don't think it exists on the internet anymore. So yeah, there it is. This is how my love for pelargoniums began. Now, I do know from watching other YouTube videos and other people that there are some European shops that sell all sorts of wonderful varieties. And I do, like, if they agree to ship to Cyprus, then I will definitely try some named varieties. And if you like me to, you know, I'll make videos on those as well. But for now, I'm okay. I have quite a bit of variety to work with and just to enjoy here in Cyprus as well. And who knows, maybe I really suck at growing pelargoniums. Ooh, there's a lot of roots here. This is coming from the terrarium. Maybe actually it wasn't the terrace. Maybe it's just me who just sucks at growing pelargoniums. You never know. That's a possibility. So I'm just gonna try with these guys that I find locally here. And thankfully, the flower season is approaching. I need a better table. I need a better spot to film, to be honest, but it's okay. It will do for today. And I really need to get these pelargoniums potted right now. So yeah, flower season is upon us. In Cyprus, in summertime, you don't really, I mean, you do find things in garden centers and flower shops, but they're more like trees and other very robust type of things, but the season to shop for garden stuff is autumn, winter, and spring, all of which are upon us. It's already getting quite chilly at night, so I'm so excited about that. In the daytime it still gets a little bit hot for my liking, but it's okay. It's ending finally, and I'm feeling so much better. I feel like I'm recharged at this point. Another one is done. I'm going to water them, and then I'm gonna show you where I'm gonna put them. I need to remember to remove these tags. Some of you might notice I don't really remove tags, and my husband is always like super annoyed by it. Like, why don't you remove the tags? They stick out like a sore thumb. And he's right. I don't know what's wrong with me. This one is so pretty. Look at it. It has 2 colors, and the flowers look like they're variegated. They're not, you know. Don't know the lingo yet, but I'm learning. I shall become a very talented gardener. You just wait and see. Cross your fingers and toes that I do. Some of these did not have a good root system, but it's okay. They're just cuttings. And probably they're fresh cuttings. By the way, yesterday we had super big winds, and at some point I went into the garden, and on one of my hibiscuses I noticed a butterfly, one of the big swallowtails. The one that actually kind of looks like my tattoo here, and it's very common, at least this year in Cyprus. And he was barely hanging on to one of my hibiscus plants, and at some point the wind takes it like over my fence, drags it on the road, just tumbles it on the road, and of course I run after it. Some tens of meters later, I do get it, and I put it in the same terrarium where I have the chrysalises, just overnight, just until the wind passes. Put some pelargoniums there. Maybe he was hungry, but he wasn't. He just spent the night there, and this morning I released it, and I put it on the hibiscus plant in the morning. I waited for the sun to start hitting his wings and warm him up. And then I went to film, and I caught the moment where he actually flew away, and it was magical. This one is done too. And for those of you who don't know the story of this tattoo, I told it to the members. Yes, I did a behind the scenes or exclusive videos. One more to go, so this is the last story I'm gonna show you, tell you. So yeah, when I was little, 4 years old or so, I found a sick butterfly. Sick, I don't know, injured, sick. Something was wrong with it, and it was a big swallowtail, again, slightly different than the one that I saved or released this morning. And I wanted to save it, and my grandmother, of course, played along. And she got me a box, she got me flowers, and I fed it every day, and I took it for flying lessons every day in the house. And every day it got stronger because he was eating. And every day it got stronger and stronger, and I knew that at some point he will want to leave. One day, one morning, when I knew he was ready, I put him on a peony in my grandmother's garden, and I waited for the sun to come and warm his wings up. And the sun came, warmed him up, and I was standing there to watch him, and at some point he flew off. And oh my goodness, you guys, I cannot tell you how good that made me feel, and how, I guess, important, or, you know, gave me a sense of meaning. I don't know what I was thinking when I was so young and what I was making out of this life, but I felt something, you know? I felt my impact for the very first time, hence why this is representing the butterfly that I saved back then, because it's burned in my memory at this point. And this morning I had the same feeling, kind of nice, kind of emotional, and I realized that I love having a garden. It's like my own enormous terrarium that I can play with. Also, now people bring me praying mantises. I have 5 of them, each with her own tree or bush in my garden. I have enough. But yeah, I have pet praying mantises. Can we call them that? They can go at any time. But yeah, they're here and they have loads to eat. No worries. Right, so we are done. So I'm gonna go water them very well, and I'm gonna show you them on my windowsill. Very nice. I'm gonna show you how pretty they look like, and we're gonna end the video at this. I hope you've enjoyed my story times. But yeah, there we are. Give me 1 second. All right, here we are, or here they are. It's still a windy day today. I hope my little butterfly is okay, but I think they look glorious, and I do get to see them from my kitchen window as well, which is great. I will have to remove this stem because we do have other buds, but I'll do so after. And yeah, there we go. So this has been it for today, you guys. Thank you so much. If by chance you know variety names and what these could be, do let me know in a comment below. But I am well aware that there are a million varieties and they can be anything, and it's, you know, maybe not the greatest idea to try and identify them like this. Maybe they're not as easy to identify as orchids, but I'm just saying because I really honestly don't know much about Pelargonium varieties and stuff. If you can for sure tell me what they are, let me know. I'm curious. Righty, so with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me today, and stay tuned for more gardening videos and of course more orchid videos and more orchid tutorials. So with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!